All right, everybody, we're here for a new episode of the show that has yet to be named. It's me and my guest, who's not even a guest. He's part of the show, but I'm going to call him a guest from now on because it's fun. Caps.
I have no idea what we're talking about, so
He doesn't.
dude,
I've intentionally left him in the dark for two reasons. One, because this is the thing that he hates the most. And two, because it's going to be fun.
I don't like being unprepared, but all right, let's
here's
try.
Your preparation H. First question for you. All right. Would you rather? Okay, so one of these you can keep, and one of them will completely be erased from existence. Would you rather keep the Terminator franchise or Nightmare on Elm Street?
Oh, you got to be kidding me!
Tell me why.
I don't know.
It's in you.
I can't pick.
You have to. It's life or death.
So the question was, what would I keep?
Yeah, which one would you keep? And the other one gets erased forever. I made sure these are.
See, both of them had like iconic first movies, but if you're gonna look at it as a whole franchise, I'll probably have to choose Terminator over Nightmare on Elm Street because just for the sole fact that the sixth movie was probably the worst movie that was ever created.
Okay, so I don't really have an opinion on this, but I have to say that's fair. I mean, to me, with those two, I feel like it would be worse to lose the character of Freddy Krueger than it would be to lose the character of the T-800. But as a whole, none of the movies in the Terminator franchise are even bad as half of the movies in the Nightmare franchise.
I just want to point out, like, I didn't know you were going to ask that question, Terminator and Nightmare on Elm Street, and it just so happened that I'm wearing that. So that's pretty messed up, but okay.
That's why I was saying, I was like, you planned this. So I got more. Terminator's coming back. You think that was it with Terminator?
Cool.
Okay, so if I can ever unlock my phone for some reason. Okay, so would you rather have a properly well done by the comic book, even if you want to do it by the Dark Knight Returns comic book, Batman vs Superman movie? Okay, or would you rather have a Batman versus Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie?
Batman vs Superman.
Why?
It just seems a lot more appealing in the grand scheme of things, because I just feel that Batman versus Superman is a lot more popular, and in a comic book realm than Batman versus Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
You know what? I tried to get you with that one because I figured it's like, what do I take? The two things that I love the most in the movie, or like something that actually makes sense? So you know what? You passed the test.
I passed the test. Okay, I didn't realize it was a test, but
listen, it's a math test.
I just really wish that, when we from the movie perspective, like the actual movie that came out, I really wish that they followed the comic book rather than going into this whole thing with Wonder Woman and whoever that damn villain was. I thought that movie had a real chance of being a really, really, really good movie, and just going into a whole different story after just kind of like threw me off. And I was really hyped up about that movie. And I do recall even having that comic back in the day, Batman versus Superman, where Batman made that suit and used kryptonite against Superman. And I was really hoping that
Dark Knight Returns.
I really hope that they would follow that story. So it was a lot better suited for a movie.
I was like stupidly hyped for that movie. Mm-hmm. Like I basically had to drag Bargo to come to that movie with us.
Yeah, wasn't that a movie like 15 years in the making or some crap like that? Like, I don't know. It
Yeah,
was
well,
like weird.
they had it planned before, but it never worked out. Like a lot of people praise it. Like I'm not even gonna bash Zack Snyder right now. I don't have time for that. A lot of people praise it for it being so like comic book accurate, and I'm like, no,
It's
like
not.
it kind of looks comic book accurate, like visually, but it doesn't follow any story.
It
Like
doesn't. It's
it's
not.
and going into that movie, you wouldn't never have guessed that it was gonna be. I mean, to me, I still liked it, but that's because I love Batman. But no one would have guessed that it was going to be as bad, I guess, if you want to call it that, as it was, because it starts off pretty strong. And you're like, okay, all these things are happening. There's so many of these little storylines, and they're all flickering, they're all going off. And you're like, there's so much building up to so much. And then it gets like an hour and a half in the movie, you realize you're not even close to done yet, and nothing's happened. And none of these storylines mean anything, and none of them are going anywhere.
Yeah, I just felt that they were taking different aspects from different stories from the
Yeah.
comics, like Dark Knight Returns and Judgment Day.
No,
Superman.
Death of Superman.
Yeah. I don't know. Like those could have been separate stories, and they could have been told in different movies. Doomsday, right?
Yeah, and it just there was so much going on, and none of it led to anything.
Exactly.
The whole buildup of the movie just didn't count. It was like throwing it out the window Martha time.
Yep.
Anyways, okay, that's enough on that. Sylvester Stallone as Terminator or Arnold Schwarzenegger as Rambo? That's a good one, right? Oh shit! I think I almost ripped my headphones out of my head.
Yeah, I think Arnold probably would have done a better job with Rambo instead of Sylvester Stallone as Terminator, because somehow, some way, Arnold would have been able to put his own sort of twist and his own feel on Rambo. Like, didn't he kind of like make a Rambo type movie with Commando?
Yeah, so we'll get to that. But it's funny that the way that you described it, because I feel the same way about that. I feel like Arnold could have done his own Rambo, like Predator. He could have been like the character from Predator as Rambo. But I don't, not even like acting wise, just visually, I don't think Sylvester Stallone would have worked as Terminator.
Yeah, not only that, I don't think he would have been interested in that kind of role.
Yeah, that's
to
fair.
be honest with you. I don't know him, so it's just my opinion.
I don't think he'd be interested, but I don't call him on weekends. All right, Arnold as
I'm on my contact list.
I figured in your favorites, your top 5. Arnold as Cobra or Stallone as Commando?
Did you just ask that?
No, I said Rambo and Terminator.
Oh, jeez.
Honestly, okay, I'll tell you mine. I think Stallone could have pulled off Commando.
Yeah, and I think they both could have pulled off those roles, actually.
I feel like this could have been a swap.
Yeah, I think they both could have pulled those off. Sorry. The Commando thing just threw me off. Yeah, I think they both could have pulled it off. But in this case, I think Stallone might have done, like I said, like he did a Rambo type movie anyway. And yeah, I think they both would have been able to pull it off.
I don't think Arnold works very well as like that, like grungy, angry, like punky style, like cop. I don't think he can do that. He plays. Have you ever seen Red Heat?
Yep, I was gonna bring that up.
He's more of like a straight-faced, like goody cop. Like even when he's being a badass, Arnold, like that's just how he comes off. Like he's here to abide by the law.
But like if you're gonna watch the beginning of Kindergarten Cop,
yeah, it's
got a Cobra type feel. Just the beginning.
I get that, like opening like sequence before he becomes the cop. I mean the teacher. Yeah, that's I like that. I didn't even think of that. Okay, so this is the last one of these. Arnold in Demolition Man or Stallone in Total Recall? I'm gonna say this. I don't think Arnold works in Demolition Man, and I think
wow.
Stallone can work as Total Recall.
Total Recall.
I think he can act enough that he could have pulled that off.
Yeah, I could see Stallone pulling off Total Recall because it would be a story that I think he would be interested in telling. On the flip side, I can also see Stallone pulling off Demolition Man as well, working with Wesley Snipes.
You mean
I
Arnold?
think, yeah. Did I say? Oh, what did I say? Stallone?
Yeah.
Sorry, Arnold.
I mean, yeah. When you put it that way, I guess. But I don't know. I don't see. Even though he works well in comedy situations, I can't see pulling off. It's that role. Stallone is like straight faced, goofy. So it's like everything about it is goofy, but he plays it so straight faced, and I don't know if Arnold could do that. Or at least visually, I don't think it would work for me.
Well, that,
okay.
Everyone's entitled to their opinion.
Thank you. So I know your exploration into the abyss of movies is not the most generous. But if you could keep one of these guys forever and erase the other one, okay, Van Damme or Steven Seagal?
Seagal.
You would erase him? He's so shit. Oh my god. I mean, he had like 3 or 4 good, like not even good, but like 90s action movies. There's 3 or 4.
Yeah, I don't know.
Under Siege is pretty good.
Oh, Under Siege is good.
On Deadly Ground is pretty good.
Hard to Kill, I think.
Hard to Kill. No,
it's okay.
Hard to Kill, yeah. Is it that?
Yeah. I think.
And then there's one other one, Lawless.
Above the Law or something like that.
Above the Law, that's good.
But Street Fighter, I don't know why. I just really like that movie. So
okay, it's a classic.
Goofy that it's
It's a classic.
Other than the fact that Kylie Minogue is in it, but
I mean, she's the best part of the movie. I'm not gonna lie.
Exactly. You got to name me some other movies that's Van Damme's
Van Damme. Target.
Time Cop.
Time Cop. Oh my God! One thing missing: Kickboxer.
Yeah.
Bloodsport.
I just feel that Van Damme has put out a lot more movies, a lot more better movies.
Universal Soldier, yeah. Okay, so I'm not going to say he made a lot of amazing movies, but his catalog has more quality action movies than Seagal's does.
Yeah, and I thought he was a standout in that second Expendables movie too.
Yes, and for someone who hates the Expendables, I agree with that. I just think those 3 movies. We'll talk about that for a bit. This is what the whole point of this episode. I just wanted to talk. I think that the Expendables was a wasted opportunity. Not that they're terrible, because I don't think they're terrible. I don't think any of the 3 are terrible. But I'm not a huge fan. They overpacked it with people. I would have preferred you made 6 okay movies where you kept introducing people to the team rather than you already had 11 guys or whatever, and then every movie 1 new person comes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I just think that Stallone was a little worried about making too many movies because I don't think he would have been able to physically be able to do those kind of movies for a long period of time.
I mean, he did do RAMBO recently.
True. But I don't know. That's just my opinion. But I think the other reason is that he just wanted to make some movies that paid homage to the 80s and those type of movies.
I think it was for the fans.
Yeah.
I would have liked less people, more story. I think that would have benefited a lot because it was too much. There was just too much going on. There's so many people.
Yeah, I think the story kind of took a hit because of the amount of people that he had participating in those movies.
And you kind of wasted, I won't say wasted, but you improperly used Jet Li because clearly, if you watch those movies, he's the best, he has the most athleticism left of all of those guys. He was doing some crazy shit.
Dolph Lundgren was pretty
okay,
physical too.
I'll give it to him. And they were together for most of the first movie, aren't they? They're like buddies. But yeah, okay. So on to, let's see what else I have here. I have a bunch of shit. Have you ever seen Back to the Future?
Of course I have.
Okay, I figured.
You know that I got the box set and I got signed by.
I have to tread delicately with you. If it's old, it's usually you've seen it. That's like my motto. It's from the 80s.
What are you trying to say?
That you're old.
Okay.
Oh, hold on. We have a special guest coming.
Is yours?
Yeah.
What's up, guys? It's me. Check out the RLG merch on the RLG store.
That's Avengers. Did you really just come in with an Avengers shirt and to ask us if we want to buy? Oh, I have the sweater. I should have showed it. Anyways, what about
RLG gear?
Hold on. Yeah, there's gear. I gotta ask him a question. I don't know if it's gonna pick up on the mic. Have you ever seen Back to the Future?
Yeah.
Tell me what happens.
It's about a guy who's into like young children sexually.
Okay, get out of my room. Studio B is off limits. Anyways,
Is that an outtake?
yeah, that's keeping it in because he's gonna pay the bills. His joke. Anyways, Back to the Future. Tell me thoughts.
An iconic franchise.
Tell me more. Which one's the best one? Which one's the worst one? Which one do you secretly watch but you don't tell anybody about?
I don't really think they suck. It's just I'm gonna just put that out there. I don't think any of them are bad.
No, I don't.
Obviously, I love the first one. I honestly think that if I'm passing through the channels watching TV and that movie comes on, I'm hooked. I have to watch it all the way through.
That's how I swear that's how I used to be.
Yeah,
I'm with that with a lot of movies, but I almost like Ghostbusters, Back to the Future. If that was on, I always watch it. But for me, you have Back to the Future 1, and then 2 and 3 are like this. I still enjoy them, and I actually think they're good movies. I think Part 3 is super underrated. I have a weird place for Part 2. I had seen Part 1 and Part 3 a lot of times, but I never saw Part 2 for some reason as my childhood.
Mm-hmm.
And when I finally got the 3 DVDs and I watched Part 2, I was like, "Whoa, I love this movie because it's so different, right?"
Mm-hmm.
Not like either one of the other two. Yeah, but I think the first one is so good that the other ones don't compare. But I do still think they're very good movies. It's one of the best trilogies. It's probably top 5 trilogies.
Yeah, I think 2 and 3 had some dark elements that might not be very kid friendly, but Part 1 was just very wholesome. Even though they had a bit of a weird story with
he made out with his mom.
Yeah, but it's just an awesome movie.
Yeah, okay, so I think I talked about this with Putty. But it's like, wouldn't the mom in the future realize that her son looked exactly like him?
Oh, you're gonna throw that kind of questions at me, huh?
Yeah, I'm coming with the hard stuff.
Well, at the end of the first movie, when he says that, when she says, "Marty, what a cool name." Yeah, there might have been some sort of underlying meaning.
Because everyone's argument to this, okay, and I can agree that I've been in multiple arguments on the interweb about this. Okay, the argument that people make a lot is that it's been this many years, it's been 30 years, you wouldn't remember this person that only was at the school with you for like 2 weeks or 1 week, whatever it is. But I'm like, that guy had a huge impact on your life. You were in love with him for like a week. You wanted to be with him. He literally hooked you up with your husband. He spent a week teaching your husband how to get with you. Like, do you think you're going to forget about this person? Like, I remember people from elementary school. You're telling me you're not going to remember this guy that had this much of an impact on your life in that only 1 week of being with you?
Yeah, I could see that. But I just think that you're just having a good time with that movie. It's just a good story.
Saying, it's just, I had to put that out there. I'm not
like, but over analyzing.
Yeah, I'm not arguing.
I mean, here's the thing. Like, if you were to go into that sort of down the wormhole, I guess, you could do that with every single movie out there. There's going to be something that you could, nitpick at something.
But that's just a well-known internet argument, which is why I brought it up. That's the only reason.
Yep. Oh, that's cool.
So, Ghostbusters. Have you seen this movie?
I've seen them.
Thoughts on
I haven't seen
the new one.
I haven't seen the new one. I think there's a new one coming out soon, right?
Yes, there was a trailer for it.
Yeah.
So
Paul Rudd?
Yeah, the new one takes place. It's the third Ghostbusters. The other one is
they're erasing the woman's.
Yeah, because technically the woman's one was not part of that universe, anyways. But I
thought the guys that wrote Ghostbusters for 1 and 2 actually wrote this one as well.
They did. This movie takes place with the other ones.
Okay.
Like they're all back.
No, I'm talking about the women's movie. The women's.
Oh yeah, I don't know people were involved. I'm pretty sure Dan Aykroyd was involved. Dan Aykroyd's in the movie actually.
Okay.
And so is Bill Murray. Bill Murray's in the movie too. What am I talking about?
Okay.
I don't think Winston's in the movie, and obviously Egon died. But
what's your question?
Nothing. I was just talking about it. Unpopular opinion. I like the women's one. I think as a comedy, it's pretty funny. It works very well. Just as a comedy. I can't
give you an opinion. I haven't watched it.
As a Ghostbusters movie, I don't think it's a ghost. I don't see it as a Ghostbusters movie really, but just as a comedy, like a ghost spooky comedy, it works. I'm excited for the new one. Is that a classic movie to you, the original Ghostbusters? Like, is that something
absolutely
you go back to?
Yeah, absolutely. I have the box set. The second one took a bit of a dip. However, that picture, the picture with the scary guy, is like an iconic photo, I guess.
Why can't I remember his name? It's not Zool. Zool's the first one.
Can't remember, but that first one, the first movie was just, I guess, groundbreaking in terms of story and
I think the
visual effects.
It blended comedy and action and like all that stuff so well. The cast is really strong. It's well written. The effects are dope. They still kind of pretty much hold up.
Yep.
As I got older, even until recently though, I probably wouldn't have said it, but like very, very recently, like maybe last year or the year before, I was like, you know what? Ghostbusters 2 is nowhere near as good as I remember. Like, Ghostbusters 2 is not even in a class with the first one, even more so than the Back to the Future movies.
Yeah, it's pretty forgetful.
As a comedy, I think it works pretty well, but they lost the direction they had of where Ghostbusters was. Like, the first Ghostbusters has some genuinely like scary moments, like when they meet the ghost in the library at the beginning. Like, that was like, well, when I was a kid, I was like, oh, this is scary. Ghostbusters 2 is kind of just goofy. Like, it's about ooze. Secret of the Ooze is second best Ninja Turtles movie.
Yep.
Yeah, that's it. Iconic.
It's pretty parallel. Like, yeah, you're absolutely right. I think it's pretty parallel to the first two Ninja Turtle movies. First one was very serious, had some elements of humor, wasn't over the top. But then the second one came out, and I just thought it moved away from the seriousness and just went straight to goofiness. It's still okay.
Yeah. I like both of those movies. Don't get me
Yeah,
wrong.
but like I don't have the urge to go back and watch the second one.
For
But the
me,
first one,
if I'm gonna watch Ghostbusters 1, I'm most likely gonna watch Ghostbusters 2.
okay,
But it's not because I want to. Like for me, it's a weird thing. Like we did a lot of franchises so far. Like we have videos that are coming out and whatnot. If when it comes to franchises, I really like Back to the Future, Ghostbusters, Ninja Turtles, um, Terminator. If I watch one, I'm most likely watching all of them. Like I've decided that this is the time of the year when I'm gonna watch all of these. Like Star Wars, even I'll be like, oh, if I decide I'm gonna watch one, I might as well just watch all of them. Why not? You know
okay.
what I mean? Take a week, watch one every day, and then you're like, okay, that's But yeah, I think. Remember, we also talked about this in the Terminator episode. About second movies being the better one. And I think that's something that happened more into like the 90s because in the 80s, the second movies were always worse. Like
That's not the case for Turtles.
What do you mean Turtles? Well, Turtles, the second movie is in the 90s, but second Turtles movie is worse than the first one.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It's not the case with Turtles. I'm just
Oh
saying.
yeah,
But you're saying
the first Turtles came out in what? Was it 89
90.
or was it
Nope,
90?
90.
Okay,
90.
okay. So
No.
that's fine.
No.
I feel like most franchises in the 80s, the second movie was never as good as the first one.
Mm-hmm. So other than Terminator, what other franchise movies had the second movie better than the first one?
And then
Other than Terminator,
Batman, the Batman series,
Batman series. Which Batman series?
The Dark Knight.
We're talking about the 90s, not the 2000s.
I'm just talking. I said after the 90s, like progressing from that. Anyways, okay. You know what? I don't want to tell you things because you're probably right, but like, just leave me alone. Next thing, Jurassic Park. Have you seen this movie?
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen the sequel?
I've seen 1, 2, 3, and I've seen the fourth. I have not seen the fifth.
Okay, well, the fifth one is very, 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 very bad, and I do not recommend ever that you watch it.
Okay.
But you're gonna have to because we're gonna talk about them when the new one comes out. What's your thoughts on the sequel?
I thought it was okay. I think Jeff Goldblum did a okay job in the second one. Would have liked to have seen the whole cast in it, but apparently didn't have a storyline for all of them. I think they brought Jeff Goldblum back because he was very popular.
I think he was the best character.
Yeah. It was okay. It's not going to be as good as the first. The third one was.
Okay, yeah. You know that
third one was okay.
A lot of people think the third one is better than the second one. I am not one of those people.
No, I wouldn't say so. I thought some of the acting was not that great in the third one.
No, and the story just absolutely doesn't make any sense. Like, I'm not saying the second one makes sense. They released the dinosaur in San Diego just to sell toys and like have a dinosaur running through the city, right? But
kind of had a King Kong effect, didn't it?
Yeah, I think the second one is a lot of fun. I think it's a lot better than people give it credit for. I do like watch it with like rose tinted glasses, and I do have like a nostalgia for it. But like it's not as good as I think it is, but it's certainly better than people give it credit for. The third one sucks. I could watch it and have a good time, but it's not very good. Jurassic World was fun. but it's clearly like it's just there to sell tickets. Like it's just a big blockbuster. They didn't put a lot of effort into it.
Mm-hmm.
Do
Do you think that's the case with the new Matrix movie coming out?
Yeah, I don't want a new Matrix movie. I don't even have this on here. Do you want to talk about the Matrix for a second?
Sure.
The first
Are you a fan of the
Matrix,
franchise?
I want to say I was. Like, I don't dislike it, but I was like a super fanboy for the Matrix.
Okay.
And upon rewatch and rewatch, the third movie is so bad. Like, it's not a little bit bad, and it's not like a slow decline from like how Jurassic Park was from like 1 to 2 to 3. It's like 1, 2, and then like 3. You can't even see it. It's like underneath my house.
I thought the third one was okay.
I
knew people were going to be upset because there was no sort of resolution. One of them had to fall, but instead they just come to like peace with each other. I knew that kind of storyline was not going to go over well with the fans. But I thought it was okay. I mean, I knew that I didn't think that he would have to be sacrificed. But then when you look at the storyline and how it's part of the equation and one of them has to go and the other one doesn't serve a purpose anymore, it all makes sense. But I knew that it probably wasn't going to be the popular choice for the franchise.
I think the first one is a great movie. It still holds up. It works as a sci-fi, as an action, as like everything that it does. It brought Keanu Reeves back. Keanu Reeves is probably one of the only actors ever that had two like huge like resurgence moments. He did it with Matrix, did it with John Wick, and I think everyone just loves him. I just watched the SpongeBob movie, the new one, and he's in it, and he's hilarious. He plays a tumbleweed.
Does he? Yeah, those John Wick movies are just like consistently all fantastic. I friggin' love all three.
All right, well, you're not gonna like me, but I think the first Matrix is good. Like what I just said, I don't know why I just said good. I think the second one has some really solid action, like maybe some of the best, but it's too much computer stuff. They also has like it's visually really good. The story, I love the mystery of the second one, but then when you find out, when you get to the third one, you realize that everything that happened in the second one was literally pointless. It's kind of like, oh, it doesn't mean that much now. But the third one is like, meh.
Are we talking about the Matrix?
No, we're talking about the Matrix.
Okay, so what about John Wick?
Okay, so John Wick. I have a weird thing with John Wick, okay? So I like the first one. I think it's, as an action movie, it works. The story is absolutely one of the dumbest stories in the history of action movies, even including the cheesy 80s action movies.
The first one.
The first one. The second one, I think now because you've established the character, it works so much better. And I do think the second one is equal to, a lot of people don't like the second one as much. I think the second one might be better than the first one. And then the third one, I think, has the best acting of all of them. It has the best story of all of them. It actually makes sense what's happening, but he's become a cartoonish character that literally can't die. And his hand-to-hand fighting was some of the most god-awful thing I've ever seen in a movie. Like, the other guy was so fast that he had to wait for Keanu Reeves to like do something. It was embarrassing. That final fight was like, I was like, please let this movie end. That aside, though, I do think the third one had the best writing. I don't hate them, but I think they're completely overrated because outside of the action, there's nothing else there.
I 100% disagree with you, but
do you feel like the storyline that a guy's dog got killed is the reason to kill 300 people? Do you believe that? Like, no. there's no story in the first movie. It literally does not have a storyline. It's
The
just like,
storyline is that he's taking revenge on the people that killed his dog, which was a present from his dying wife.
yeah. So, but that's not a reason to do that.
Yes, it is.
No, it isn't.
Yeah, it is.
So, okay, in the second one, what's the storyline?
The storyline is what he was asked to do something for someone, but he didn't want to do it anymore because he was done, and they tried to kill him because
And
of
what's
it.
the third
because he
story?
refused. The third story?
Yeah.
The third story was, I can't remember how it started out. Oh,
Now
he's on the run.
because
He's on the
he didn't
run.
do the job. Exactly.
Yeah, he's on the run.
You made 3 movies out of a storyline that's barely enough to make 1 movie. If you're gonna argue with me that it's a bad movie, it's not bad.
If you're the studios, then why you wouldn't be complaining, because you're making a shitload of dough off of these
That's not the
movies.
point, though. If you're gonna tell me this movie's bad, I would disagree. I would say no, these are not bad movies. If you're gonna tell me these are really good movies, then yes, I would disagree, because they're not really good movies. If you're gonna tell me that as an action movie and nothing else, just on pure action and hype alone, these movies are worth seeing and they're really good, I 100% agree. The fight scene with the dogs in the third one is amazing. Like, amazing. With Halle Berry when they're on that like rooftop thing. That was amazing. That's what I get out of those movies. You know?
Okay, fair enough.
But to like me, Terminator and Rambo and the first one and Die Hard had those really good action movies. Aliens have amazing stories and amazing characters, not just only action, and that's all that I'm bringing.
But we agreed that Genesis was a shit story.
Yeah,
we
Genesis
agreed.
sucked.
Yeah, so
I mean, like Terminator 1 and 2. You're gonna tell me Terminator 1 and 2 had bad stories?
I never said that. I said there's still parts of that franchise that had a shitty story.
No, but that's my
But I'm telling you, John Wick is consistently pretty good.
Yeah, but it's not on a level with Terminator 2 or Die Hard.
I disagree with you.
Well, you're wrong.
I disagree with that answer as well, man.
That was so good. I wanted just a shirt that says that. I disagree with that comment as well.
Yeah.
We're gonna sell that. That's gonna be the next piece of merch. It's just gonna be Cap's quotes against me.
I disagree with you. If I had to, I think that the John Wick movies are on the same level as Die Hard.
As like a well-rounded, directed, written, acted movie, or as an
I truly feel that way, and I'm going as far as saying is that the last Die Hard movie that came out was garbage.
Yeah, but I only care about Die Hard 1.
Okay, we're talking about a franchise here, man.
Okay, so what's the best? Die Hard 1 is better than any individual movie.
We're talking about a franchise here. We're talking about
I was only
movies.
talking about one movie.
No, why? We're talking about all the movies.
When people compare this movie to the greatest action movies of all time, and
we're talking about all the movies.
Okay, all the movies. There's 3 of these. Eventually, they're going to get bad.
Yeah, and there's 5 of the Die Hards.
Yeah, and 3 of them are 2 of them are really good, and 1 of them is all right.
Actually, no, 4 of them are really good.
I don't like the second one.
I like the second one.
I absolutely hate the second one.
So you like the 5th one?
No, I hate the 5th one.
So how many do you like? Sorry, 3?
I like the first one, the third one, and the 4th one.
First, third, and 4th. Okay, all right.
I don't think the second one is necessarily bad, but if you like read up on it, it wasn't even going to be a Die Hard movie. It was going to be a different movie, and then they just put John McClane in the movie. So that's why it kind of feels awkward compared to the other 3 or the other 2 when the original trilogy came out. It feels so different on the airplane and whatever. But yeah, I didn't like the setup for it. I felt like it was out of place.
I think it's fine.
I don't hate it. Okay, I don't hate it, but I don't like it.
Okay.
And I really don't like the new one. The new one was so bad. The Raid.
So wait a minute. So wait a minute. The 4th one, it being surrounded or based off of computers and computer viruses and all that stuff. How does John McClane fit into that?
It doesn't.
Equation?
But the actual writing for the movie overall is much better. The villain is better. The acting is better. The huge action sequences are better. The second one is just a retread of the first one, but out of place. Like he has to make it through these guys to get to this thing. The third one.
You're telling me that he's not out of place in that movie?
In which one? The fourth one?
Fourth one.
As a character,
driving an armored truck, being shot down by a jet?
As a character, yes. But the story of the movie is actually good in comparison to the second. The second one is your wife's on a plane. Go get your wife. It's like,
it's based on him. It's based on
we just do this in a tower? Didn't this just happen?
Yeah, but she jokes about it at the end of the second movie.
But look at the third movie. How they flipped everything on its head. He had to solve all those like little mystery things to get to the guy. That was awesome.
Sure, because I can guarantee you that if they brought her back, it would have been the same old thing.
The second one shouldn't have had to do with her to begin with. I don't think that's a huge factor, but I just don't think they should have done that.
I think it was fine.
You know what else was fine? Terminator Salvation.
I disagree with you on that.
I disagree with you.
I thought the visual effects were probably the best out of all the Terminator movies, but the acting was bad, and it consisted of Christian Bale yelling at a microphone, friggin' like unnecessarily, like stupid.
That the way you feel about that acting is how I feel watching John Wick.
Okay, that's where we disagree.
We hired a bunch of singers to just stand here and be like, hold up the cue card. Yeah, Jimmy went to the store and he's coming for you now. Anyways, have you seen The Raid?
Where the hell was that in John Wick, buddy?
That wasn't. That's just how I feel. Like,
okay, all right. Anyway, next question.
Bad. That's how bad the acting is. What, you thought I was quoting a line from the movie about Jimmy going to the store?
Next question.
Jimmy went. The next, I don't have a next. Well, I do. Have you seen the Raid movies?
The what?
The Raid.
No.
Did you see Dredd?
Judge Dredd? Or
no, the second one, Dredd.
That's not, no.
Okay, so put these on your list. The Raid, the two Raid movies, and Dredd. They're like great action movies. You seen Mad Max Fury Road?
I've seen the Mad Maxes. I just don't remember them.
The newest one is the new one was.
So wait a minute, who's in this?
The Raid is a movie from Indonesia, and it's not in English, but it's probably easily on my first watch. Both of them made it to my top 5 action movies, probably.
Okay.
The second one is a much better story than the first one. The first one is just a guy has to get to the top of a tower, and every floor has like people he has to fight on it, and it's a cop. And then Dredd is like this exact same idea, but featuring Judge Dredd.
Okay.
Instead of like that. Anyways, this is my last question for you, and I'm gonna tell you you're wrong either way. Who is your favorite actor?
Oh man. Once again, I'm not prepared for this.
Yeah, that's okay. That's what I want. If you do remember one later, I'll let you bring it up in the next episode.
There's 2 people that come to mind: Marlon Brando and Johnny Depp.
And okay, what's the best Marlon Brando role that's not Godfather? For you, like that stands out.
On the Waterfront.
Ooh, that's a good choice.
Oh man,
that's a really good choice. I'm okay with just that. You don't even have to tell me anything else.
I'll come back to it.
That was such a good choice. I don't even care. I would never expect you to say On the Waterfront. I don't know why I was putting you in a box like that. But Johnny Depp, what's the best movie?
Donnie Brasco, Pirates of the Caribbean. Some of his best work was on there.
Well, actually, yeah, Jack Sparrow's pretty good. I really like him in Blow.
He was really good in Blow. Edward Scissorhands is pretty good. What's the Tim Burton one? I know there was a lot, but late 90s.
He was in like so many Tim Burton
It was like based
Sleepy
around
Hollow.
Jack. Huh?
From Hell.
Is it From Hell?
Well, the one about Jack the Ripper with Heather Graham.
Yeah.
I don't think
that one.
I don't think that was Tim Burton. That's a good movie though.
Was it not Tim Burton?
That Ninth Gate is pretty fun. I don't think it was Tim Burton. I don't know for sure. That's something we would have to look up.
What else? There's so many Johnny Depp movies that he did a really good job with.
Speaking of Blow, this is the last thing I'm going to ask you. Pee Wee Herman in Blow or Pee Wee Herman in Mystery Man?
Don't care.
That's the wrong answer. He's the greatest actor of all time.
Don't care.
Yeah. You're going to. All right, that's all I have. Thank you for being on my show. Special guest. I'm gonna get you a shirt that just says special guest. Thanks to the special guest Caps for being on the show. Thank you to our sponsor Water. It's in you. Thank you for special guest appearance by some guy who's never seen a movie. Probably. We gotta make one show. Side note, just with us. I don't care how many people are on it. We could have 10 of us, where we just ask my brother questions about movies, because he's probably seen less movies than anyone you've ever met in your entire life. Yeah. Anyways,
just based on the question that you asked him before.
Yeah, he's never seen Back to the Future. I can almost promise you that.
All right, let me go. Let me get off this thing so I can go watch
he's
that
getting
movie.
off this thing. Thank you for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. He's gonna go watch Terminator and Back to the Future at the same time on different TVs. Peace out.